Marcus, I know you want to be sleeping right now.
Um, Not that tired, to be honest. I feel
Mm.
weird though. I feel like I just got off a fucking cruise ship. I'm like shaking. It's weird. I'm like floating. I'm probably gonna get real sick soon. I don't know. But I
You're
kind of
just
felt
gonna
like
die.
I felt like on and off
Are
today.
you is it vertigo?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what that is.
You never so vertigo is like an inner ear imbalance.
Oh, that could be the whole flights and whatnot.
Mm.
I've never felt like that on a flight though. From a
Too
flight.
much too much traveling for an introvert.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like traveling. What I don't like is tiny little seats that make me have to like squeeze my shoulders in and hunch. Like all of the all of the speaker rooms and the ballrooms were like tight fucking seats. The airplanes are tight. Like I got a bad back anyways, you know. But
I thought you guys had plenty of space in those big ass rooms. I've seen a couple things. No?
you get like the little metal like ballroom chair. It's like tiny and they are right next to each other. And
So
you got big
that's
motherfuckers next to you.
that's how you bond. You
No,
say, hey, that lap looks really soft. Would you mind?
uh, no.
Oh, look at you. You sold your soul to go high level.
No, they gave me a free long sleeve.
Exactly. You sold your soul.
I already had their product before they even gave me this.
Veader, is your facial hair I don't even know what that's called. Like what are the rules for government?
Government?
Is your
Huh?
beard standard issue?
What are you talking about?
What do they call the rules about when you're in government and all the things you got to
I'm
do?
not I'm not in government. I don't abide by
Listen,
any of
you
those
you
rules.
you were brainwashed at one point. I'm surprised you like left and immediately broke free. Look
Are
at
you
you. You're
kidding
turning
me?
into a
You
leprechaun.
should know me better at this point.
What do
I
you mean?
left because I wanted to break free.
Is you can
Mm.
only have a mustache, or is that just like police and firemen?
No, you guys, you can only have a mustache, and it cannot
Uh,
pass your lip line. So your mustache is capped like here.
nice.
Your hair has to have a tapered appearance. It cannot exceed 2 inches in bulk, and it cannot touch your ears.
Pretty
So
good
It
rules.
cannot cut your
Anyways,
ears.
it cannot touch your ears. It
Oh,
cannot.
touch your ears. I thought you said cut your ears. I was like, I don't understand that.
No, it can't touch your ears. It has to have a tapered appearance. It cannot exceed 2 inches in bulk on the top of your head. Um, and no beards unless you have a waiver, which pretty much does not include anyone who is white.
unless you have a waiver. Interesting.
For black people, is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
But why do black people get to have a beard?
Um, because
Years
Oh,
of their hair, it can create a lot of like ingrown hairs. They're very curly, so they can get a
okay.
medical waiver.
All right. Lee,
Yeah.
tell Mark what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to buy another multifamily.
Nice.
Hmm.
I think you saw that post that I put out there.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to get a multifamily in an area there isn't really a lot of multifamilies, which is High Contest, New Hampshire. Realistically, the only places that multifamilies exist in the areas that I would want them are Seabrook, Epping, kind of by the beach, but I don't think that would be like Airbnb territory. It's not really worth it as a living rental. Somersworth, Dover, Rochester.
Yeah, those are all good
Um,
spots.
so I have a duplex in Rochester that I
Nice.
had bought in 2022, right before I joined Sub 2. I lived there for a year and a half. Yep.
Nice.
Almost 2 years. And then I left the military. We had bought a new showroom in Newmarket, which was like a part of the same complex, just a larger building, had garage access. We
Love New
got that
Market.
on seller finance, sort of off of a whim. Just happened to get in contact with the guy who had built the buildings and owned it. He was at retirement age. His wife was like, "We're going to Florida, sell everything." Um, and so they did. We got it on seller finance. He had done like 10 in the past. So he had his own attorney. He wrote up all the paperwork. We got 10% down, 7% interest. So it was relatively good deal on our end. 5-year balloon, so I think we have 3 years left on that before we have to refinance it. And then, yeah, so I've been living here, renting out my house because it is cash flowing me roughly $800. And then I've been
Nice.
using that $800 to use it as a business deduction of my home office, or like renting an office space. So,
Perfect.
now I'm in a position where I don't want to be here. I think if I also don't live in this space, we've been expanding our products and we're getting really crammed in the showroom. So we would love to be able to use the space that I'm currently using as my bedroom as a sales room, as an additional portion of the showroom to display products. Um, and I also don't want to, sit on my ass and wait too long to get my next place. So I want another multifamily. I want it to be in one of those areas. I'm struggling with the aspects of not being able to qualify for traditional lending. So I have a sister who, her and her boyfriend, basically, that's kind of inconsequential, but it would just be my sister. She would be basically like a credit sponsor for me. And I would be bringing her onto the deal for equity partnership. It's really the only part that she'll have in this is being a credit sponsor. I'm trying to, same reason I went into the family business. I'm trying to teach my family and my siblings better financial principles so that they can be set up better in life because my parents didn't have that. They don't really know how to pass that down. And so that's something that's important to me and I want to help my family with. So my sister, I gave her a credit card when she graduated high school. Gave her a cash deposit to open it because she didn't have credit established. Now she's established great credit, so she has a good credit score. And now I get to reap the rewards of my investment.
Now you come to collect.
Now I come to collect. Yeah.
There you
So I've done this with all of my
$100.
children.
Yeah, $100 and you're buying your sister's credit, but you also give her equity in the deal. That's very
Yeah.
sweet of you.
That's
There's
So
two boys and two girls.
2 boys, 2 girls. I'm the oldest. So I did that for my brother, and him and his fiance were able to buy a house. Um, and I've done it for both my sisters. Actually, I haven't done it for my youngest sister, and she just turned 19. I've waited a whole year because she's very irresponsible, and I would rather her have a delayed credit than a bad credit. So
yeah, good
I'm
call.
still working on that one.
Yeah.
The rest of my siblings, that was their graduation gift. I gave them $300 and opened them a card. I said, "You'll get this $300 cash in 6 months if you don't fuck it up. Here's the rules."
I didn't
So,
know you were so like nerdy like this.
yeah,
This
I'm
is not
extremely
this
nerdy.
is not something I saw coming. You're like, hey honey, I got you a 401k with a seed money deposit. Like it's so, yeah, like 87 years old kind of gift.
I am a 70-year-old at heart, for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know with that. Look at you with your little motorbike chain around your neck. I don't know.
I
I don't know.
know. I am, what do they say?
Old soul.
I'm an old
No,
soul, yeah, for sure, but
no, no.
I am. I am. I have a 45-year-old woman from Hawaii who can prove it.
What?
Don't touch it with the 10-foot pole, Mark. There's
Neither
not
here
enough
nor
time. Not enough time.
Can I come to Can I come to Hawaii? That's all I want to know.
Blinders. Did you say 45-year-old woman in Florida?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Oh, because I think I know the 45-year-old woman in Florida, and I'm pretty sure she's
Yeah.
older than 45.
They always lie.
Yeah, no, different woman.
Anyway, why did you choose those locations for the multifamily? Why wouldn't you just go anywhere that it's cash flowing?
Um, because I hate driving and I don't want to
Me too.
commute and my business is in Newmarket.
Those are
Yeah.
like the multi-towns anyways, you know? They're good.
Yeah.
I like them all. Rochester's probably on the maybe worst side of any of them, but you already own there, so.
Yeah, I don't care. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. My
Fair.
agent said that when I got my place in Rochester. He's like, I can't legally say a lot, but I would maybe drive around the neighborhood. And I came back to him and I was like, what's the problem? And he's like, huh?
It's just
I was like,
junkies
dude, if there's not
walking
drive-by
around.
shootings, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, yeah. They're just
Nobody's
junkies
shooting
walking
me
around.
in broad daylight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Somebody, yeah, you got a drug addict. Okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple break-ins here
Come to my family reunions.
and there.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll keep you posted on anything I run. I don't run any like multifamily lists at the moment. I can pull something. Like I mentioned, I'm walking that 3 unit in Hampton tomorrow, but that's gonna be a big fucking shithole. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
be fine, but like that whole part of the beach is all on leased land. The last property I looked at that was on leased land was owned by the town, leased by the town. At least that you can buy. This
Hmm.
one's like owned on leased land by a lady that owns the whole fucking street. She ain't ever selling. So it's like a big clusterfuck. You gotta renew the
That's
lease
okay.
every
That's
five
okay.
years.
He's into older women. Why don't you go make some moves on the woman? Oh.
You're gonna have to renew that
Get
lease
me a
every
little
five
equity.
years. And
Say
it's
it
not gonna
again.
be a deal. That like you're gonna have to renew the lease every 5 years. So it's like you're buying the building, but like have to lease the land, and it's only like 5 years. At least with the town, if you get a multi there in the beach area, it's like 100-year lease. Or you
Yeah.
can buy it for a certain percentage of like the
I want to
assessed
get
value
back
of the lot.
into, I have a buddy of mine who I wasn't legally allowed to work with while I was in the military because he was an officer and I was enlisted. Um, but we went through this whole beginning stages and then it got shut down by the fucking, I don't even remember what her title was, but basically like big military lawyer boss. And
Hmm.
so big military lawyer boss lady, um, she was like, you guys can't work together. That's illegal. But what we wanted to do was buy out essentially very similar 50-year land leases owning airplane hangars. We were both in the Air Force.
Love
We
that.
know a good amount about pilots. We know people who privately own. We know a good amount about, I was an air traffic controller for 3 years. Um, so we had sort of some of that connect, a little bit of the background, a way to be able to communicate with these people that another investor wouldn't know how to.
Hmm.
Um, and we sort of went through some of the process. I don't know if he did that without me and just cut me out of the deal when I left the military. But I know that that was something that we were looking into at the time. He had another kid, I'm pretty sure. So he has two sets of twins, so I know that he has more
Oh,
than his hands full.
Damn, shit luck.
Um, yeah. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to look at a multifamily on Friday. It has foundation issues, which is usually a big scary no-no. But I have a family friend, a really good family friend, who that his specialty is ancient historic foundation restoring. Um,
Convenient.
very convenient.
Yeah.
So he's gonna come walk it with me on Friday. We're going to try and make a determination of what it is that needs to be done for the foundation. Anything interior I can handle. Um, I got guys and materials. So, um, I'm that's why I've been focusing so much on the business side of things, is building the relationships with the bodies that can do the work and the manufacturers that can supply me the product so that when I do get into real estate, I have everything other than dollars. And I think if I can have those other things, that's usually the significantly more uphill battle than finding people who have dollars, because I think that there's more of those. Um,
Agreed.
so yeah, I'm in a position now where I'm trying to dig in my roots locally. I don't want to do the far away investment properties. I want to be close enough where I can be there if I need to be. Um, I'm in a position now where I don't have kids. I would like to do live-in house hacking as long as I possibly can. Um, And my goal, like Suzanne, eventually I want to have kids, and I'd like to do that within the next 4 years. So, um, I think getting my next house hack, it would be maybe I have one or two more
Yep.
that I can do before that happens. So I'd like to do that. I think multifamily real estate is ultimately like what I'd want to do. I want to buy and hold and keep long term. Um, I'm a little bit of a sappy person, so when it comes to the operational side of those multifamilies, um, I have to keep in mind making sure that I actually operate them and I'm making money. I think I
Firm
got a
but
little,
fair.
yeah,
Firm but
yeah,
fair.
yeah. And so I feel like that's kind of what I've been with my property that I have now. And luckily um it's been good enough. Like I have enough margin where I can do that. So I know myself, I don't want to get into a place that there's not enough meat on the bone where I have to be too robotic and rigid. Um, so I don't want to get into a place that I'm going to lose money because I'm not in a position to shell out cash flow to hold a place that's underwater so that 10 years down the road I can have a good investment.
Yep.
Um, Pretty much I'm paying myself like bare bones through my business so that I can roll cash back into the business. So I don't have a ton of cash flow because of that. I have equity in my property that I could potentially tap into, and I got people in places.
I wonder if you can 1031 exchange that if you end up like pulling out the equity of the first property and rolling it into another multifamily.
I
Because
don't
the
want
other,
to do that though.
no,
And it's
because why?
mostly because of my sappiness,
What's sappiness?
the people that live there.
Oh, well, no,
The
no, we're
people
not.
that live there, I know for a fact, if I sell that house, they're getting kicked out.
No,
I don't
no, I'm
know if
not.
you should own residential real estate.
Hmm?
I don't know if you should own residential real estate.
Hmm.
I'm kind of fucking around with you, but like also if you're worried about your first duplex, taking out your however much equity to roll into something else, and you're too
I
savvy to
also
figure
think
out
it's
whether
I
you
don't
know.
honestly, I mean, to the same effect, I make my mortgage is $2,100 on that. I have probably $400 a month in utilities, all inclusive, 2,500 bucks, and I make 3,600 gross. It's a
But
good.
like the next property that you get is gonna be the same scenario. The next property is gonna be the same scenario, and then you're gonna need to like sell it as a package to upgrade to a 15 unit someday. And like if you just
At that point, yeah. But where I'm
can't
at
wear your
right
heart
now, I
on a
couldn't
on your
upgrade to
sleeve.
something good enough. I don't have that much equity. Like I have 60 grand worth of equity. If I had 500, then I would t call
Yeah,
them and be like, "Hey, I have other better positions and I will help you transition." I'm not that sappy, but
yeah,
I'm sappy enough where the equity I have doesn't make sense. Like there will be a
that's fair.
threshold where it'll outweigh my sappiness.
Yeah, that's fair. Good point. Just want to make sure that it's like not something that's gonna
No.
stop you from making like business
I
decisions in your
yeah,
business, right?
no. I can
He
be
makes
ruthless when
he
needed.
makes plenty of bad decisions, but he's turning he's turning a corner
Mm,
and there should be less of that. Yeah. All
yeah.
right. This is Rachel. Mark, you met Andrew at the meetup. Andrew works
Yeah.
for her
Rachel and
company.
I have been friends on like Instagram going on a couple of years now, almost, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. I think something like that. I
We've
just
been
don't
seeing
Did you
each other around.
did you ever go to one of his meetups or how'd you get to know him back in the day?
I think I found him through Sub 2. I'll be honest, like we're terrible at like networking and going to meetups and doing all that. Like I think we just work too much and focus too much on like getting stuff done and less on connections. So we're
Happens.
terrible at like going and doing that. We try, but we go to like 3 a year.
Which three do you guys go to?
Which what?
You said you go to 3 events a year.
Yeah, like we'll find like one from like we'll go to like a White Acre one every now and again. We go to like Blueprint Boston. Like we get invited to a good amount of realtor, what's it called? They're
Like,
like before the open house they have a
oh,
Are you a
broke.
broker?
no.
Oh.
We connect with a lot of them, so they invite us to their stuff.
Mm.
A lot of them are like end up being our clients, or they send us clients or stuff like that.
For those that don't know you, who are you?
So my name is Rachael. I am a real estate investor. I own a construction company called DHI Construction and Design. We also flip homes and have rentals. So we do probably 3, 4 flips a year, sometimes more, sometimes less, through Got House, which is how we acquire properties, handle all that. Day to day, mostly we do construction for clients. Now we've emphasized more on luxury products and kitchen and bath renovations for them, and then we do our own projects on the side.
Hell yeah.
Where are you
Go ahead,
located?
So I live in Everett, and then my office is in Malden.
Okay.
We set up a new office actually.
Done pretty much the same thing. So I have a construction business, kitchen and bathroom remodeling out of New Hampshire.
Yep.
And yeah, same thing.
I know.
Are you
I know the guy-
nervous? She's married. Relax. Lee.
What?
Suzanne,
Are
you
you
got a whole
nervous?
like old mom microphone situation going on.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
can't even hear
sounds
anything.
like you're on
Oh,
the
because
phone.
I'm really far away from my computer. I'm sorry.
The
I'm
one who's
sorry.
always yelling at
Whoa,
people,
whoa,
not
back it
being
up a
loud
little. Back it up a
Yeah.
little.
enough.
I can't remember. It was like Harold and Helga, maybe back in the day. And then there's that weird kid in the corner who was always like,
Breathing.
Do
Yeah.
you guys do just kitchen and bath remodeling or
So we're
like everything?
starting to move into that because we've learned that like the head, even like, so I've been telling Doug is the other owner, he's my husband.
Mhm.
And I've been telling him this for like, it's got to be going on a year now, like that I just want to focus on development and I don't want to like deal with the BS of clients. And
Yeah.
so I've been telling him for this for a while, and I think like we're probably on the same page of that now to like start pushing more into like flips and development. Because the thing is, like a flip and a development, okay, something goes wrong, we know why. We understand, we're on the job site, we can see it. Client selections, like what type of flooring, what type of like we're go. Like we figure it out, we pick what we want, we move on. We don't deal with like clients, oh, but I don't know what color floor and this and that. And like what I've learned is like I have a lot of friends that are contractors that are in the space too. Like I know one Pat from Remodern. I had lunch with him probably about a month ago, and he only does high-end projects. So only multi-million dollar luxury stuff. And he wants to be where we are. Like the money is not in these big like we thought that's where the money was, and it can be, but the headaches aren't worth it. That's at least what we've seen. Like the bigger like we used to do work for even together partnership with like big like companies that do 50 million a year, 60 million a year. I don't want their headaches. I want to get my rentals. I want to retire on the beach early. Like I don't want to get into that.
Have you heard of the wealthy contractor?
Yeah, he has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk a lot about contracting companies and how it's like this dick measuring contest of who does more in revenue a year, but their margins are typically really small.
Yeah, it means
So
nothing.
it's like you do 10, $20 million, but you make $400,000 in profit. So
Yeah.
um, a lot of times, I mean, like statistically, that's been proven is the higher you go in the luxury, the lower your margins are. They take longer. There's more involved. There's a lot more particularity in the client basis and what they're expecting out of you. I think it's more in the mid tier. I think that like we do like exclusively kitchen and bathroom remodeling.
Mm.
So for us, looking at because I was considering doing wholesaling at one point, but our average ticket value is like almost 40 grand. And if we're making the margins that we need to be making, like we have 10 to $15,000 is the average like value of like lifetime value of a customer, even if they only buy one product from us, which is a kitchen or a bathroom model. So like that's pretty good. And if we can just do more of those, like you can easily clear $1 million in in revenue and make good margins in that. So being
Yeah.
able to use that and then have those relationships. Like if you're doing development, you can't get into development if you don't have the people to do the developing. Um, from the material side of things, I know that we've worked a lot on developing relationships with suppliers. I don't know if you guys have suppliers like manufacturers that you work with, or if you guys are just going super local and going through third parties or wholesalers. Like, how do you work that?
So we do a combination. Actually, recently we just went to the International Builder Show in Vegas, where we connected with a lot of like direct to supplier folks out there. And so we're like, it doesn't make sense for us to be going to third parties anymore, like the size of our company. Like, it doesn't make sense if we're selling kitchens and bathrooms. Like, why are we sending our clients to somewhere else to buy their cabinets? Why are we sending them somewhere else to buy the vanity, to buy, all those details? So at least now, like, we're going to be starting to also sell cabinets, flooring, and hardware, which is like the most common stuff anyway, um, for clients. And then we're also going to be offering it to other developers and flippers in the area, because we saw a big need to offer modern cabinets at affordable pricing. So we're just wrapping up, for example, we're just wrapping up a 3-family condo conversion in Dorchester. And we put in modern, luxury, beautiful European style cabinets there, but it cost a lot of money. It cost way more than shaker style cabinets.
How much?
And
How
so
much is a lot of money?
so a lot of money. A lot of money for a flip, because flip has a budget. So for 3 kitchens, I paid $22,000 in cabinets.
Okay.
If
Where
I
do-
was
Sounds like a
Where do you
deal.
want to be?
So it was a good deal for modern European shaker cabinets. However, I could have gotten white shaker cabinets at $3,000 per kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're gonna be shit.
Yeah, but it's a flip. It's a flip. It's a development. Like, am I? If it was a client, then maybe not. But if I do it with like 3/4 plywood shaker cabinets that you can get at Home Depot, it's a fraction of the cost. I mean, like, yes, we go to quality as well, but you're not going to get any more money for putting in a higher, like, let's say shaker cabinets, putting in nicer boxes or putting nicer stuff. Homeowners are not going to pay more money for that when they buy the
I think
property.
it depends on the ARV. Like, so I've done customers who, like, I have a woman who lives in a $3 million house, and she wants us to do bathroom, kitchen, multiple bathrooms, her kitchen, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they have done, typically, they've owned multiple homes, they've done renovations in the past, and they 100% can tell the difference. Like, people who've never had anything nice, they don't know the concept of nice, so they can't tell the difference. But people who have absolutely do and
Yep.
will.
But like
Yeah.
three family in Dorchester, if you're doing condo conversions, it's gonna be like a first time home buyer. Like it's gonna be like those tech bros like out just buying 5 to 700,000.
Yeah.
They're not like high end,
Yeah.
like single
So,
family
so like
owners.
in those cases, you're probably right, and they're probably going to want to change it down the road. So like you might be either creating business for yourself down the road, or you're creating business for somebody else. Um, and I understand both sides of it. I understand the trying to make your bottom line, and also there's the aspect of like you could spend marginally more and use it as a sales point of showcasing it. Like I think more people aren't able to shoot or charge more is because they don't say it. It's like the aspect of what is the particulars of your product? Like what are the selling points? And are you even marketing those? Are you advertising it? Are you even talking your client through when you're doing a walkthrough of a home and saying, hey, this kitchen is not just the other kitchen? Because people also have that expectation. When they go into these builder cookie cutter homes, they're thinking, I'm getting builder grade everything, and they don't care about me. They're trying to save a buck, and I'm gonna have to redo everything in 5 to 10 years when I have the money to do so. Like that's
Yeah.
what their expectation is when they buy those homes.
Yeah. And what I've seen is, like, as a contractor, that's 100% true. As a flipper and developer, like, unless you're doing, like, so I'm doing a on in South Broadway, we're doing a custom home. just in kitchen cabinets, they're spending $180,000, right? Just on the cabinet. So those are the clients that absolutely, they know the value, they'll sell it, they'll pay it all day long. Condo conversions, these flips, like, you know, you could spend more. You can even tell the client about all the details about how beautiful, how much better the quality is, whatever. But majority of normal homeowners, unless you're doing, you know, like let's say you're doing stuff in, I don't know about New Hampshire, but like let's say down here it's like Lexington and like really nice areas that require that type of quality. Absolutely, you have to. But I mean, even like East Boston or Dorchester, any of these, the clients, they shop with their eyes. So I mean, even the boxes, we did cheaper boxes, and then for all the doors, we did Fabul wood doors.
Yeah,
So
they just want nice looking, soft clothes, like modern poles, like you're good, ship it. Rachel, I have a 2-family I want to run by you maybe at some point in Dorchester. Do you have capacity for another one?
as a contractor, as a
Flipper.
Flipper.
for us to flip, so you're as like you'll sell it wholesale.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
talk about what it would be. Maybe I get it under contract and assign it. Maybe like we just write it up with you as a buyer and I'll list them or something. I don't know. We can figure it out.
If you were no, I was just asking because like it's funny. I was offered a project the other day for a flipper, like 3 units in, I think it was Somerville. And he turned to Doug and he was like, "Oh, do you want to be my contractor?" And Doug goes, "Nope." But yeah, we're moving as contractors, we're moving to the small projects, but for us all day, definitely. We're
Yeah,
our next project right now.
it's a 2-family. You could probably get a third through a variance, but like I don't know if the seller is going to go on that, so that's up to you on how
Yeah.
you want to handle it. But I think it could be a good one. I met somebody this weekend, actually. It's funny. I flew all the way to Texas to find some chick from Boston who like does condo conversions. And like I gave her all the information, and here we are fucking 4 days later, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll look at it on the plane." And like I landed, got home, I was like, "Hey, so how's that looking? Are we putting an offer in?" She's like, "I haven't gotten to it yet." I'm like, "You're not gonna fucking get to it, are you?"
Yeah.
It's just you can tell like when people want it and can act quickly and then can't. It's not, to be honest, it's like not a good deal. It like we have to work on price, really. But this chick said like pricing worked at like first glance, and either way I'll run it by you and maybe we can work on them on the pricing and see if we can get somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, it's the type of thing, like, we're like, what we've learned is we're straight shooters, right? Like, if the price works, amazing. If it doesn't work, I'll tell you right off the bat that I need it to be at a certain number to make the numbers stretch. But I mean, like, we're like, what I've learned in real estate is being flexible too. Like, our office that we just bought, we spent a year and a half trying to buy our office. A year and a half pestering this real estate agent because it was 3 trustees behind it. And gee, a wild family. Wild.
Just like following up or like actually under contract and negotiating like next steps and terms.
Following up for a year and a half.
That's pretty typical.
We made like 6 different offers in 6 different creative ways. All different purchase prices, all different terms, all different stuff. Because he wanted 1.75 and we ended up buying it for 1.25.
All of that sounds standard. Like, yeah, that's funny.
So,
they would go contingent on permits too, though. So like we could force the value that way, maybe.
That is the biggest thing that I learned about this Dorchester project. And like I tell all my clients now, like at least City of Boston is a crap show with permits. Like the biggest
12 months. It's gonna be 12 months.
It's so bad. It's really, really bad. And it's the type of thing that like I can't even justify it to my clients, like why it takes so long. I just tell them, look, City of Boston is going to take forever and you want it or not, because we can't do anything about it.
It's all the neighborhood groups. Like they gang up on you and they're like, do this, change that. We don't want this here.
Yeah. And then and if you already closed on the property, then the money's coming out of your pocket per month.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah. That was what we learned.
So what do you want to do going forward? So you're doing smaller contractor jobs still Boston, surrounding Boston. But flipping wise, what do you want to be doing going forward?
So this condo conversion we did in Boston, it was great. Turned out beautifully. It was a very cool project, but it was a headache. It was a headache. These smaller flips, we can get in, out 2-3 months, make over 100 grand on it. Like why go towards the big projects? Like the bigger the project, the more stuff can go wrong.
Hmm.
And so like I have we know a guy that he's a great guy, little wild, little nuts, like way more guts than we have, I think. And he does stuff here and in Florida, all with hard money, and all his every time he makes money just throws it into the next one, and he only does stuff that it's like he'll buy it for $1 million, put $1 million into it, and then sell it for $3 million. So he only does the massive stuff. I don't know, like the more you're in construction, the more, I'm sure Lee can see it too, like the more crap can go wrong. You start opening up walls, especially in these old homes, and stuff hits the fan, like you're just opening yourself up for more and more stuff to go wrong. Why not just do the small projects? Small meaning like single family, 2-family homes. Get in, get out, be clean, move on to the next one. And I like that too. I like starting a project and it only taking a short period of time and being able to take the win and move on.
Yeah. I haven't quite gotten to the flip portion. Um, I've been trying to build out an in-house crew first because like I went to the Air Force out of high school. My dad had the company. My brother went straight into the business. My brother was doing installs. Um, and that was sort of the gig. And we've subbed out to other people. We've had other people. We've had shitty contractors work for us that just were bums, and we've had to get rid of them. And then we've subbed out with people that had their own businesses and charged us out the ass for things that it wasn't worthwhile. So I've had to develop significantly more of a backbone. Um, Realistically, the only time I've been able to do that is having the leverage of knowledge and putting these guys in their place and saying, I know how long this project should take. I know how much this project should cost. I know how much you're paying your guys. Don't bullshit me. Look me in the eyes and tell me that you're willing to work with me or get the fuck out of here. And so that I've had guys that quoted, like we have a bathroom project that we closed on. It's our client. We source the deals. We're supplying materials. We're just telling a guy to come in there and do the work. He quoted me 14 grand. And then I called him into my office and I was like, I will pay you $4,000. And then he was like,
Did you
we
take
settled
it?
on 4,500. So from 14,000 to 4,500.
Yep.
So those are the sort of things where you're like, you had some wiggle room here, dude. You had some wiggle room. And
You're in the best position to do flip because you know how much stuff costs.
yeah. And so that's sort of the next step until I get having a crew that I can regularly hire and give work. Um, I might need to learn Spanish in order to do it, but um
Google Translate,
I'm saying
Google
yes.
Translate and yelling.
No.
Lots of yelling.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hire Anna. I've been telling you.
Portuguese and Spanish. You got to do both.
Yeah.
Both. That's how you'll get the good subs.
It was actually, I had a hilarious situation today. So we have a bathroom job. So I have my crew who are Venezuelan, and then I have my countertop fabricators that are Brazilian, and they came in. My crews, like we have a vanity that we're installing, counters go on, and then we had to put cabinet towers on top so that they could template for the backsplash. And so like we're doing this all in unison. I'm trying to Google Translate to my one crew so I can get the other crew to make sure that they're getting the measurements right. And then the dude pulls me aside, the countertop guy, and he's like, Lee, so I forgot the backsplash. And I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna do? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and this, and this. And then he's just chatting with my crew, and they both live in Lowell, like 5 minutes from each other. So he's like, I cut it, I drop it off at John's house, John brings it, John installs it. I'm like, cool, teamwork, I love it. But yeah, they were just basically, they both spoke Spanish. He's like, oh, I live in Lowell, you live in Lowell, cool. I'll drop off some backsplash. You'll throw it in tomorrow.
I'm,
We're all good.
I'm surprised yours get along because I feel like every contractor I run into, they always pull me aside and they're like, that guy is horseshit. He didn't do this for you, didn't do that for you. And I'm just like, for love of God, I don't fucking care. He did what I said and that is what it is.
I mean,
Listen, it's good that your guys get along. I'd rather have, happy, joy, incestuous family relationships instead of this like destroying each other.
I think it's also like partially just like, I don't know that maybe this is a hot take, but like contractors' relationship with men and women and how they interact with them. Like,
You know what?
dude, they have an already expectation that I don't care for their drama, paying them, and that's my role. Their role is to do a job, and my role is to pay them for doing the job.
That's fair. Rachel, for me, mine was a Brazilian guy. There's a Brazilian church in Revere. I got one wife that was pimping out her husband, and then I got the whole congregation, and they're fucking amazing. And the Brazilians work. I feel like every other, I shouldn't say that, but they were willing to work the week between like Christmas and New Year's. They're like, we'll come Thanksgiving. We don't celebrate, we don't celebrate that holiday. So they were awesome. But going back, so you would like to do the smaller flips. You just want to get away from the customer hand holding. I know that sucks. But you
The-
also talked about
Going-
developing.
Yeah.
You got your old lady Mike.
What are we talking about? Nothing.
You must have put something on it. You must have tapped on it or something.
I don't even know where my speaker is. That's possible. You said you wanted to do development stuff. So you're talking about like raw land, or you want to do tear downs?
It can be tear downs. Right now, I'm looking at a piece of land to do a larger development on, but we wouldn't be the contractors for it. I think we would just be the developers on it. And so I think it's one or the other. It's either like single family flips or like 2 condos, max 3. And then yeah, focusing on just construction wise, just the small stuff, the cute little projects, in, out, clients happy, move on to the next one.
You have a
So, like,
showroom, Rachel?
No,
Sorry.
no mechanicals.
No, can be mechanicals. Mechanicals don't matter so much.
So what do you not want to do? When you say you want to do something like quick and easy, what do you not want to do?
Major structural issues.
Okay.
Changing floor plans and
Anything zoning. Oh, unless I close after permitting.
contingent on permits.
Yes. If that's the case, then that's totally fine. Doesn't matter at all. And then we also do like we'll buy or we'll keep 1 flip a year for a rental. So the past couple like we always end up keeping 1 just to add to the portfolio.
Is
I
that
sent
to
you my-
offset gains? Sorry. Is that to offset your gains? Okay.
Yeah. And set us up for retirement.
I sent you my buy box questionnaire on Instagram. I will keep you in mind. Let's do some deals.
I have to ignore I'm on a time limit for Instagram, so I'm not getting any notifications.
You'll get it sometime.
Yes, no, I'll open it up.
Actually, Rachel, so I made a directory, you know me, if you hang out with me long enough, I'll put you on some sort of directory, but I made a directory for our group. You can just write notes in there about like what it is that you're trying to do. But yeah, it sounds like the biggest problem you have right now, or at least the biggest pain in your ass, is the permit problem and probably hand holding and having to translate to homeowners why permits are such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. And like we've been blessed. Like I really can't complain. Like I'll say 95% of our clients are amazing and they're great to work with. You know, we've built great relationships with subs over the years. But I mean, I think just the back and forth, like being a GC, Lee knows, you make everyone happy. You have to make the designer happy. You have to make the architect happy. You have to make the client happy. You have to make the subcontractors happy. You have to make your employees happy. And then you have to make yourself happy. It's a lot of people to keep happy and a lot of people to be the middleman for. So it's the type of thing that like, that's why we want to move to the smaller projects, because then it takes some stress off of us for that. And then just like being able to make decisions fast and not having to wait and not having delays, like that's amazing. You know, like I picked all the design for all of our flips, all the projects we've ever done. It's like, you know, I pick the vanities, I pick the floors, we pick everything. And, you know, if we hate how it looks, it was our own fault. But
Do you want to be in Boston? Because I feel like with the last house that I did over in Andover, I had a lot of people coming from Boston, and they're even commuting as far up as Newburyport. So I had people that were like, we've been renting for 6 years, searching for a house. Like, we want to get the hell out of Boston. Boston is annoying. I know they did the new train in like New Bedford and one other place. So, you know, makes it slightly easier. But I almost think that if you don't have to be where you are, would you move a little bit away from Boston? Because I don't have those kind of permitting issues that you're having. I have a great relationship with, you know, people over in Andover and wherever else that I'm doing. But that's also because I'm there in person. So I don't know if you would expand where you're working or your territory.
100%. I think that like we have like an hour radius from where we are, and we try and stick to that. What I've learned is like if you want to be efficient on a flip or development or any project, the closer you are to it, the better it is. Like we'll show up there every day. We'll watch it every day. We're on top of it 24/7. But like when it gets to be the case of like, you know, the project's an hour away and I have 10 projects that are open, it's much harder for us to be there watching everything because like, you know, we still do have clients. We still have, you know, I can't, if it was a full-time job, sure, then, you know, even go further than an hour, that's okay. But still, because we do the contracting, like we try and keep that hour for the most part.
Yeah, I got you. Adam, who are you? I don't know you. You're okay. You can unmute. Adam, unmute.
Yes, let's hear from someone other than me.
No, you're
I have
you're
some
fine.
questions for you at some point.
Yeah.
Fill out the goddamn directory, and then people can find you outside of Tuesdays and outside of all the other things that
Talking
we
to
do.
me?
'Cause- Yeah, I will. No, Rachel too, because you can't find her unless she fills it out. And if you didn't fill it out, then F you too. But yeah, I want you guys to find each other outside. Like the whole point of something like this is like a weekly check-in, just kind of seeing like highlights, lowlights, you know, lessons learned, you know, things that you're seeing on your side, which is like, I don't want to do permitting. I want to move away from that. And then anything that you're working on or you're interested in, the more people that get to hear about it, the more people can connect you with opportunities as they happen throughout the week. But for us to be connected with each other, we need to have your information. So fill out the directory. I made it, is good. It's like the 10th one that I've made. So they're not terrible anymore. But yeah. And then I'm gonna go scream at Adam. Who is Adam?
He said something in the chat.
Yeah, baby doesn't stop talking. That's fine. I have a little yippy dog. But does anyone know who Adam is?
Nope.
Adam, can you hear us? Adam, can you hear us?
Yes.
I don't know who this person is.
I think he's doing it on purpose.
Adam, I'm gonna remove you. I don't know who you are. Do you want to unmute and tell me? Greg, you will work on driving. Sorry. Bye.
That was
You booted him.
I don't
scary.
I don't know who that is.
That's-
Izzy, can you unmute for a second? I want to introduce you to Mark. So Izzy is a guy that I think this is the Izzy that I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah,
But he's a new,
I think we
huh?
talked. I think him and I talked. Him and I chatted on Facebook, I think, at some point.
The
Yeah,
one
yeah,
from
we did.
What's up, bro? How we doing?
Not too bad. Just here at work, I'm trying to like kind of hear what's going on, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys and learning from you guys and whatever I can do. I wanna get involved.
So I'm gonna send you a form. I want you to fill it out. My understanding is he's new to sub two. He's in sub two. Then he found me, and then I'm like, no, don't find me. But in getting to talk to him, I think he should talk to Stratton because Stratton sounds like I just had a call with him the other day about what he's looking for, and he's
Yeah.
looking for someone just like Izzy, somebody who's new, who can be trainable, you know, has the chutzpah, and that he can train him up. And then on top of it, he reminded me of you because he's from Haverhill. And I think he had a deal at one point. Izzy, where was your first deal from? Like what town?
And Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yeah. What was it? Single family?
It was a duplex. It was a
Okay.
duplex. Yeah.
What happened to it? Is it still in play or it's over?
No, so it's under contract with someone else, but yeah, I kind of slipped through my fingers.
This is what I heard. I kind of said to them, my fingers.
No. I said it kind of slipped through my fingers.
It kind of slipped through my. Okay. I'm
Yeah, I
getting
didn't know what I was doing, and
Mhm.
I got someone beat me to it.
So you're going to want to hang out with Mark. He's been doing acquisitions for 5 years. He can talk to anybody and lock up anything. On top of it, he's an agent. So if it doesn't work for a wholesale deal or a creative deal, then at a minimum, he can list it for them. So he has all the exits. The other one is Stratton. He's a little bit up higher north, so like New Hampshire. So if you wanted to just get reps in, he's a good one to do. But if you want to stay a little bit more local, I would say, chase Mark. And you can chase both of them too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna reach out to Mark. I know I reached out to him before, and I was planning to link up with him after I was done that challenge, and
Mhm.
then go from there.
Yeah, I'm down to help you however I can. I think Stratton would be a good move. I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he's looking for like two new acquisition guys. He kind of needs them, right? I am just doing like a little solo thing for right now. Um, Plus with him, like you don't need to be up there. He was saying it can be remote, so like you don't have to like be going to these properties or anything like that. And plus you'll learn a ton of like on the creative side, which would be sweet, I
I
think.
think I think his thing right now is he's running a direct to agent campaign. So he
Correct.
really wants to convert a lot of like 75 plus days on market listings over to like creative sub two stuff. So he has a
Correct.
whole campaign of like of leads coming in and nobody touching them. And I think you would be a good fit for that. But if you don't want to do exclusively direct to agent and remote stuff, and again, you want to be a little bit more local, depending upon where you want to go in life. So what's the ultimate dream? If the dream is like to own your own real estate, then maybe you're going to want to keep tabs on Mark and like join him for his stuff.
That's a good explanation. Yeah.
Mark, what about you? What's going on with you? Apart from your lovely weekend,
It was a
right?
long weekend. I'm finally back. It was good. I don't know. I just keeping going, keeping getting things going.
What's going on with Rockport?
I don't know. They pushed it out. Like they had it for like 4 days, didn't do anything with it, and then they pushed it out. My guess is that's gonna not go anywhere. I only have a few more days left on that contract, pretty much with my due diligence period. My guess is it probably won't go anywhere, which is what I expected from the beginning. But
How much does it need to be for it to go somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's less about the price and more about like if I had some serious feedback from a buyer, like, hey man, price isn't bad, or I need to be here, or even if it's higher or lower or whatever, it's probably more so the fact that there is ledge. Ledge is an unknown, but like we don't have any perk tests or anything like that. So it's like if if I had some serious feedback from a buyer, I think the seller could be agreeable to allowing me to get a machine in there to do some perk tests and try to figure out if it's buildable. Like if we can it's buildable dimensionally, like according to the town, but like, will it perk? Because we need to do septic. There's ledge. How much we're removing and stuff like that.
You're
So
going to do septic on ledge or in ledge? I don't even know how
yeah,
you do that.
you just need like 4 feet of separation, like according to the town. But yeah,
It's
there's
a
no there's no sewer. What's up?
it's a plot of land.
Yeah, yeah, it's buildable by right for a single family or two family slash townhouses. Um, I have it at like 150, and it's in Rockport. Like that's cheap in Rockport. Um,
Yeah,
but
what's wrong? Why isn't it not selling? Because of the perk
it's just
test.
that it's just as is. It's not contingent on permits or getting anything perked. It's just a straight cash deal. And the seller, I think, would be agreeable to something different if he knows it's a little bit more legit. But it's just where it's at.
Do you know what else do you have in your pipeline?
Everything I have is spoken for. I got a lady in Haver who's trying to back out of her contract. I got like a voicemail on that the other day, and like then she sent me an email today and like it didn't match with the voicemail. So I'm like, she has a higher offer. So I got to feather out that conversation. I called her today and she's like, I'm on the other line, Verizon. I'm like, yeah, sure. So that'll be a fun conversation. Always good to get those. Everything I have is spoken for. Rachel, I want to share like info with you on that two family in Dorchester. Um,
Send me the Rockport one too, because like if like I don't mind going through permitting. The mistake we made was buying it without that.
yeah, this guy, he's not gonna like want to wait 12 months and stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't need it doesn't need relief from anything dimensionally. We just need to prove out that it perks and that we can slam a septic in there. And
Yeah.
the big question is like ledge removal. Like that's kind of an unknown cost, right?
Have you done that, Rachel, before?
Yeah, we built a property in Wakefield that had a lot of ledge. We've done a couple of like that have septic. Um, I don't love buying septic when septic is existing, but if it's a new build, it doesn't matter as much. It's funny, one of when we were on in the middle of a flip in a lake house in Rentham, and septic was not passing, and we were like getting ready to sell it, and we are like, holy, like, and this is a property that like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Everything that could have gone wrong. Like we had as a single family flip, we estimated $150,000 in profit. The end of it, we made out with like 65. But with everything going wrong, we were still perfectly happy with it, with the amount
Yeah.
of. But anyway, so we had like so many septic stuff, and we brought out so many different guys out there trying to get it fixed. And I called my dad because my dad was a contractor in Jersey, and he knows like a bunch of stuff. And so I called him. I was like, "Oh man, Dad, I'm gonna have to like pay $40,000 for a new septic system. I wasn't planning on this." And he goes, "No, no, no! Like I can sort this out. Go to the property, have me on the phone with the septic guy. I'm gonna tell him where he's gonna dig, what trenches." I don't even know what he did. He had them dig new trenches, do a whole new thing, explained the whole septic process to them. And the guy's there talking, like explaining it to the same guy that told him that the whole system had to be replaced. The guy goes, okay, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. $5,000.
Whoa.
I was like, okay, amazing. But that's why I don't like septic when we're buying it.
Yeah.
But new construction doesn't matter. That's okay.
I've seen that a lot in construction is people like, we have to do this, this, and this, and this. And like somebody who has enough experience, they're like, no, you don't. Just do
Yeah.
this. And then they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it'll be a $20 thing. And you're like, what the fuck? You're
Mm.
gonna make me go and spend $2,000.
And I had
I
like,
have to do that with my crew, and I have the language barrier too, which makes it way harder. But they want me to go, he'll send me like links to Home Depot of the things that he needs, and I'm like, dude, this is $600. And then I have a buddy of mine who speaks Spanish, and I call him, I'm like, hey, this is what our guys are saying. I need you to have a conversation because I don't think that's right. That shouldn't be right. And then he calls him, and then he calls me back. He's like, no, easy thing. Get this part, and he can do it. I'm like, okay,
Rachel, what kind
okay.
of contractor was your dad or is your dad?
so he's retired now, living the good life in Florida. Now he actually just does like some private money lending for fun. And he loves like being part of our like real estate deals. Like he's the first one like, oh, what's going on with the he's there. My parents are great. They're big supporters of ours. And so he started late in life, actually. He was working in a school system for the majority of his life, but he always worked like 3 jobs. And so like he knew a lot about building. And so he started being a contractor to like do it for himself when he was like 50. And so he flipped homes and developed homes for 10 or 15 years before he retired. And my dad was always handy. He always knew a lot. And so it was like kind of a natural fit for him. And he did it up in Jersey. So I'm from New York, and he worked in Union, New Jersey, like buying homes, flipping homes. And back then, like I asked him like what happened back then, like how he got money or what, because I was a kid, so I didn't really know. I was like, how did you get money? Like, how did you do stuff? He had and I found out now, he had a private money lender that funded everything 100%. And
Wow.
like it was a realtor friend of his that would buy and sell the properties for him, and he was funding him all the deals at like 5 or 6%
Hey,
interest.
that guy still around?
Yeah.
He is still around, and I've told my dad to hook me up with him
Yeah.
because I'm like, dude, like, but I think he's old, so like I don't know if he's like he's still around, but I don't know like how much. But I'm like, Dad, you gotta hook me up with him to lend on our properties.
That's
Buy,
what
yeah,
the
buy your
hookup.
dad into the deal. Now he's a partner and he's got to get good rates.
Yeah, no, literally.
That's funny.
hmm So my dad is knows his stuff.
That's really cool.
Knows his stuff. The other thing that I was going to say is like even with me, right? Like I know somebody brought up the gender thing, and I think to a certain extent there, yes and no. I don't really find people like taking advantage of me, but what I do find is like people that are not experienced enough, right? Where they're like, listen, this is a surefire way. I had to do this one time. It's like it's overbuilt by 200%, but I know it'll fly. I don't want to like try some maneuver, like maybe your dad knows a maneuver that can be pulled off, but they don't know it. They can do the work, but they don't know whether or not it'll fly. And they don't want to have that awkward conversation at the end with you where it's like, it's not enough. And now we need to charge you more for something else. So I've been having a lot of fun. I adopted a contractor group like a year and a half ago almost. And that one has been like really good to me because anytime I have something, I just bid it out and I'll get like for gutters, I had like 10 different offers for gutters. And then very clearly apples to apples, I get to see like it's the same thing, 5-inch white, seamless, 0.32 gauge, whatever. And then very quickly I know like who's legit and who's not. But I don't know how you're finding your contractors because I don't really deal with like one-on-one people. Nowadays, I just like throw it out to the masses and the hungriest one gets it.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm just saying like I have that as a resource that you're welcome to use. I don't know if you have a better way of doing it, but right now that's been my workaround to the point where I feel like I'm so spoiled that I don't want to leave Massachusetts. I'd love to get back to like Rhode Island, but like it's a huge, if I can't get work done in Rhode Island, that was the hardest part for me is getting work done. I used to go to my whoever I was going to list the property with, I made sure it was like somebody who was super well connected so that I could, use their entire Rolodex. And that was the way that I would either that or like begging for help. But now that I just get to like throw it out there and then have all these people like clamoring for me, yeah, I'm super spoiled.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of contractors groups. I think they're really good. Like I've posted a couple of times, like if I need so like on the Dorchester project, my flooring guy ghosted, and then my backup flooring guy, his wife had a miscarriage, and here I am running around, running out the clock because every week that I hold the property costs me $3,000
Yeah.
per week. And so I posted and I found someone to come in, and I actually ended up just using someone I've used before. But most of the time when I'm looking for contractors, we go based off of referrals. Like we know a lot of people in the industry, like friends who like do like similar things, but also like I'm in a lot of Brazilian groups, and we just send it out to the like Brazilian groups like, hey, I'm looking for some painters, I'm looking for some carpenters, and tons of responses. Like a lot of people need work right now. There's a lot of like carpenters, painters out of work, but also
Yeah.
the prices that people want to get paid now is a lot. It's a lot. Like we're looking for a couple of painters today, and painters are asking $30 an hour. $30 an hour, and oh, I don't have a car. I need you to come pick me up for work.
That's crazy.
So
$30 an hour I don't think is absurd for people who do good work, personally.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you used to paying? If not 30, then what are you used to paying? Like what's a good deal?
so like if I pay someone 30, it doesn't cost me 30, right? Because I have workers' compensation, I have general liability. Like as a contractor, it costs me more. And I have an office. I have a physical office. I have lots of other expenses. I have project managers. I have designers that work in house. So like someone costing me 30, they really cost me, maybe double. Back in the day, as of like a year ago, like the most top-notch painter was like $25 an hour.
So like the way that I look at it, the rest of the expenses are not your actual contractors. Like it's a separate part of your margins and should be worked into your pricing.
Yeah, no, I'm
So
not.
if you have your overhead, like that's your nut that you need to make for the month.
Yeah, I'm talking about like my crew. Like if I bring on someone like on my internal team, and I'm like not like I'm subcontracting it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Subcontracting,
it's your payroll.
yeah. But also like I have to take all my other overhead costs into
Mhm.
consideration
But are you putting your overhead into your pricing?
when I charge a client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do is we aim for 40 or more % profit per job in construction.
Is
Like
that surcharge or gross margin? Like
that.
are you taking like say you $10,000 and you're adding 40% to that?
What do you mean?
Like if you're saying you have a minimum of 40%.
Yeah.
Are you say a job costs you 10 grand to fulfill, are you adding 40% to that?
No, if a job costs like if I'm if it costs me $10,000, am I adding? No, if it costs me 10,000, if I bid out a job of $10,000, then 4,000 of that should be profit.
Yes. Okay. So that's correct. That means that you're actually making 40% margin. A lot of contractors they do a percentage charge on their cost
Mm,
versus an
no.
actual understanding of what gross margin is, which is
Yeah.
a completely different calculation and has huge differences in the money that you take home. So if you're doing 40%, like that's pretty common. That's kind of where we are too. When you're able to showcase product, which is some of the questions that I had for you, like do you guys have an office like a showroom? Do you bring if you're doing residential clients, do you have a place where you're bringing them places and showcasing products or materials that you can sell to them?
So yes, but as of recently. So we just closed on a 4 units in Malden.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 buildings on the property. The first building in the front has 2 residential units and a commercial unit. And then there's a 1,600 square foot warehouse commercial out back with an office. So that we use as like warehouse, storage, all of that. Before we were working our office out of one of my other rentals. And so we recently moved here. We set it up as an office, made it nice. We've had some clients come in. And like now that we're going to be selling products, we're moving more to like the showroom aspect of it where we didn't have that prior.
Yeah,
Um, because we didn't want to buy a property, like especially like property rent here is really expensive, like
for
really
sure.
expensive, and we didn't want to be paying 4, 5, $6,000 a month in rent right off the bat. We wanted properties that would pay for itself and add value. And so now we do have that office. We're turning it into a showroom, but we've done, like that, like this custom home in South Boston that we have that the just in construction, we're at 1.2 million budget for construction. Never asked to come to the office. Don't need to go see there. They went to see our previous projects. Good enough. And I know plenty of other contractors that they do anywhere between 5 and 10 million in revenue. And it's like, an office is not, it depends on like what you're going for, right? I think
Yeah.
that like having an office is really nice and having a showroom is really nice, but it's not essential.
So it's less so it is for the sales aspect. It is for the leading your customers through this start to finish process and showing us a sort of professionalism that sets you apart from the competition who doesn't have that as an availability. But it's more so for the relationships that you can form for manufacturers. So the other question I had for you is who are you set up with for sourcing materials? Because manufacturers, that's their brick wall. You cannot source materials through a manufacturer unless you have a place to showcase their product, and they won't distribute to you otherwise. And so otherwise, you are stuck going through the third parties. So like me, I distribute tile, flooring, cabinets. Like we sell those to contractors. Suzanne had her flip, I sold her cabinets through that. So she can't go to the manufacturer directly and say, hey, I want cabinets, they're going to say, sorry, go find somebody. Here's our local person that sells our cabinets. So now that you're set up that way, I would recommend, if you have the space, to get set up with some of these people, because it does save you, it's not a tremendous amount, but it's your bottom line, and your bottom line adds a lot to profit, especially when you're in a position of now having to pay rent. You can, if you add $4,000 to your monthly nut because you have to pay for this rental unit to have this office space, if you can subtract that or more from the materials you already have to purchase in order to fulfill your jobs for the month, then it covers itself.
Exactly. That's why we wanted to start focusing on materials too. Like what we said is like, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with too many selections and too many companies because that's not our focus. We're
Yeah,
construction.
keep it simple for sure.
Yeah, like you can go down a rabbit hole. Like we're construction plus design, right? Like we have an interior designer who works in our office, Wilson. He's an architect in Brazil, interior designer here. That's a great thing for, I don't know if you have anyone like that on your team, but
We do it all. We do it ourselves.
there's like you design stuff yourselves?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I can tell you that there's so many architects here from Brazil, from other countries that do not get valued for their knowledge, that that they end up working as painters, as carpenters, and they would die for the opportunity to work in their field and do what they do.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
so that's what, we love having him on board because like he does project management, he does interior design. It's like really helpful to that aspect, but we focus on construction, and if they want to buy their stuff with us, if they want to do all that, amazing, great, but not get too much into the nitty gritty. Like I said, like we've worked with high-end clients where design is everything, every inch, every millimeter matters. And those are not the type of people that typically people like that, where every inch matters, every design matters. Those are the type of people that don't value other people the majority of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them are jerks, and most of them, they are incredibly difficult to deal with. And so are the designers that come attached.
Which is why we do our in-house design work, is not having to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just me, my dad, and my brother, and then we outsource labor. I mean, we have been more recently outsourcing labor. For a long time, we've also been doing some of the jobs ourselves, but you can't scale that way because there's just too many things, obviously, that you have to be doing. But
Yeah.
I have my number here. If you reach out to me, if you have a showroom, I will hook you up with the people that I actually source my materials from. So we have LVP flooring, all sorts of different options for like Home Depot prices. I have
Awesome.
cabinets that are sourced out of New Jersey. Those are the ones that I gave to Suzanne.
I love Lee. I love Lee. I would lick him on his butthole if I had to, which is the most inappropriate thing you could possibly say. But in less than a week turnaround time, like I've no joke been through like 20 different cabinet suppliers. So Lee, oh, maybe you don't. Do you know Pam Barty, a girlfriend of mine? Curly
Yeah,
hair.
you've introduced me. Remember I went to the holiday
Like I
party
said,
and I danced with
exactly
her?
her. Pam Barty fucking went to, excuse me, the Nevada IBS show with Rachael. So this is like the place to go to be hooked up to get like direct from the source and blah, blah, blah. Absolutely an avenue for you. For somebody like me, where I don't do that kind of high volume, I just want to be able to have like the hookup with great prices, with somebody who will like take good care of me. That's Lee all day long. So like I love being able to buy my stuff from him. I think Forever Mark, I would love to see you give her like a quote with Forever Mark, because I don't know if that will do it for you. I mean, I freaking hate what is it, Home Depot and Lowe's and all that other stuff. So having somebody like that, like they deliver to my house, they'll bring it doorside, was awesome. So I don't know. I would tell you to test out Lee, right? But obviously do whatever you're gonna do, because she has a huge background in design and construction. I'm guessing like Doug is a GC. Are you a GC too?
I am not. No,
But you could be.
I could be.
Yeah.
I've been saying that I should be a GC just because I want to like wave my GC card around on the job sites. It's fun. Like you talk about like the differences between men and women. I find that as a woman who works in construction, men get incredibly offended when I call them out. Incredibly. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
point, like, you know, like I said, like, so we came from being subcontractors, right? As most construction companies do. We came from being like carpentry. Doug is a carpenter by trade. And so we came from being carpentry subcontractors, working as subs to multi-million-dollar huge companies. And I remember calling out this guy who's the director of construction for a company that does $60 million a year in construction. And he had put a psychopathic site supervisor, drug addict, on the job site who was the worst pathological liar, endangering to everyone, had warrants out for his arrest. Like, it was wild. It was wild. And I was calling him out for it. He calls Doug later and calls Doug later, no, because you can't be having people that work for you like this. And, you know, she doesn't even hit like a woman. She hits like a man, like verbally, right? Like verbally, I hit like a man. I'm like, what? For calling you out that you had like a liar on your job site that you like, you know, I don't put up with that crap. Not that I'm disrespectful or rude. I just called it how it is. Like, you know, if I said I did something, we did something. If I said we didn't do something, we didn't do something. And so, and I've seen it like a lot of times, like subcontractors, other men, like if I get involved, like most of the time I don't get involved because men just get offended by it, which so I think it's like a delicate balance. Like I think that a lot of times men don't want to be called out by a woman.
It definitely depends on the men, but yeah, I'd say men in the trades for sure. But definitely a big thing for you. I think like when you get to a certain point, especially in competition, like if your bottom line, minimizing bottom line is far more beneficial after a certain point than increasing top line, um, because of the aspect of competition. You know, you're working in an area where everybody's price shopping, and if you can open up a door that other people don't have access to open, it just puts you in a different league. So I would say, you know, it doesn't even really make sense for you, total in complete honesty, if you have a space to operate as a showroom to showcase product for you to go through a third party like me. You know, somebody like Suzanne who's doing flips, looking at the back end to make big money, and she's not doing huge volume, like she's not doing residential clientele, she's not going to save substantial money. Like it makes no sense for her to try and go direct. But somebody like you, if you have that set up and you're trying to do like more in-house and set up having the relationships, you have people on staff, having direct relationships to the manufacturers is a huge, huge leverage aspect. So I can tell you the people that we utilize. Um, the big thing I've been trying to do, like cabinets, flooring, bathroom materials, all the consumables you should just get from your big box stores anyways. Raw materials is going to be most easily sourced through there anyways. You can get those platinum, whatever tier shit through Lowe's and whatnot. Um, but it'll save you money and it gives you just access to better materials. Like you'll get the same stuff for this, like the same price points for just literally twice, if not more so quality material. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't have a lot of experience in the flipping side of things. It's something that I'd like to get into. I'm getting to the place where I have access to the people who can fulfill something like that. I would like to do it. Um, so I will definitely need as many friends who can offer advice in that field. So I think that is definitely a fair trade from my perspective.
Oh, 100%. Like like we're terrible at networking, but what we
Mhm.
do a lot is like we do a lot of flip consultations for friends and for people that we know. Like a lot. Like last week, like a guy came over, spent like 3 hours in our office, and we were going through the flip that he had. And it's his first flip. He has a an auto sales dealership in, I don't know, one of these nearby towns. And we walked him through. We were looking at his property. We pulled up like his whole construction budget. We went through everything, and he has some knowledge in construction, not a lot, but like we were walking him through, and he was like, "Man, like if you guys didn't have this consult with me, I would have literally lost $50,000." Like and he was like, so like we went through his whole plan, his whole thing, and we're like, we love to do that type of stuff, like running through other people's deals and running numbers and seeing how can you help, because I think like one of the most important things like we've learned in construction and real estate in general is like if you come in with that attitude of like how can I help someone else and not always just trying to get something out of it, like you'll always end up in a good place.
Rachel, why don't you just do a meetup like that? I mean, if you are not going to, I'm serious, if you're not going to other people's meetups, just fucking do your own goddamn meetup. Bring people to your office and be like, this is the battle station, blah, blah, blah. Is Gregg sleeping right now? Oh my God, he was. Anyway, I would say that if that's what you're doing, where you're like, essentially, I think in the past we used to call that a hot seat, right? You have a friend who's doing a flip, they want to be picked apart. Essentially, you put them in a hot seat, bring everybody through your office, get a chance to meet them. But it's kind of the reason why I started doing meetups too when I was doing them in Rhode Island. I didn't want to go to Boston. So I was like, no, you come to me. And so I will host the meetups, but you come to my house and I'm not going anywhere. The other thing, Lee, I'm thinking is, I don't know what you're giving her, but I have a list of like preferred contractors that I like, especially after, I call it kissing frogs anytime like I go through these people, but I do have quite a few painters that can paint for you. I mean, you don't hire them, so you don't have to provide them like 40 hours worth a week, but you can tell them like, hey, we're going to paint this day, and they'll come, they'll do a great job, they'll do all the prep, and then I know everybody hates prep, but they'll do all that prep. I pay them $25 an hour. I do. But the work is good. I know I don't have to pick them up. They break their own lunch. They do all the things like a big boy and girl should do. But honestly, that's why I was asking your price, because I usually pay 25,000 is unskilled labor, and then like 35 to 45,000 for skilled but unlicensed labor, and then anywhere from 55 to 65 for licensed skilled labor, but it's all cash. Those are all my cash prices. I know you do overhead and all the other things that are attached to it, but for me it's just straight labor money. And I will actually hire drug addicts because I've done that before, but also drugs run rampant in construction. It just happens, and it just happens.
Drug
So
addicts, or they use drugs every once in a while.
no, they were like active. I swear to God, they were all from like a sober house. It was a guy, and this should have been the first sign, is he wanted to pick up one sheet of drywall, because I just give away things at a certain point. Like, I don't want to lift anything. I don't want to go back and return it. Just like leave me alone. So come and get it. And he wanted to pick up one sheet of drywall, which I don't know is like $40. And that should have been a huge thing. And then when he came, he's like, hey, I noticed this, that, and the other. And at the time I was like, yes, you're my knight in shining armor. Please come do something. And then it was just a shit show. And I was like, you need to get out of my house, but please do the work before you get out of my house, because I just need this to be over. And that's the other part too. Like the ghosting, I hate ghosting. Just show up. Just show up. You do it so I don't have to do it. And for the most part, I will pay you. I'm not a jerk, but yeah. Anyway, I have resources. That's the other thing I got to put together, is like a communal file. So I have lenders that I want them to give me like their like lending requirements. And I also want them to give me a term sheet for like the last project they did, because I want to be able to compare like, what do you actually do? And now that I'm finally like 5 flips into it, now lenders will talk to me and I'm like, bro, you're a dime a dozen. I don't care. Like, razzle dazzle me. Okay. But like also make your money cheap enough that it makes me want to say yes to it, because I don't know how we compete now. But anyway, Lee, if you put together whatever you're putting together for Rachael and just make it shareable, I'm gonna have something on the drive for like anyone to use, because I'm in the same boat where it's like I'm pretty introverted minus this stuff that I do, but I'm happy to help, because I know what it's like to suffer, and I hated it, and if I can save you, I'll try to save you.
Yeah, I'm trying to put together something that's for like an investor, flipper, client, friend, whatever.
You
But
wanted
what
to
I'm
do the
talking about for
Bible.
Rachel is completely different. I'm like I'll tell you who I get my products from so that you can set yourself up as a
We'll
distributor.
do that. Whatever you make for her, I want it too, is what I'm saying. You feel me?
You won't be able to use it, is what I'm saying.
I don't give a shit. I'm a
Okay.
hoarder. That's what I do. I hoard things.
Julie is like, we made so many connections at the IBS. Like it was, so Doug has gone before. This was my first year going, and it was insane. Insane how many suppliers, connections, people. And so like we narrowed it down to like a couple of cabinetry lines that we think that we like.
Which are what?
So one of them is out of New Jersey. His name is
Is it Fabuwood?
no, it's not Featherwood. It's
Why not? I love them.
Cubitech.
What tech?
Cubitech.
Cube Attack.
Yeah. The head guy over there is Frank. They're all Jewish, super
Yeah.
cool dudes.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
so is
for them.
Fabuwood. They're
They
all
have,
Hasidic Jews or Orthodox or whatever.
exactly. So Fabuwood also reached out to me as well, and I have connection with them if I want to end up selling with them. But like when I tell you the amount of people, like so we narrowed it down this way. Like there was hundreds, if not thousands, of different cabinetry dealers that we could have gone with. So we said, okay, I want someone. There was people directly from China, directly from Thailand, directly from the Philippines that like we could have gotten it even cheaper. But we said no, someone with warehouses in the U.S.
Yeah.
that have like
I
distribution
would advise
here.
against that. I've done that in the past. It doesn't work well.
Right, because like the thing is like I'm not going to be storing cabinets. I'm not going to be waiting 3 months for stuff to come in.
Yeah.
Like I need people that have distribution centers that have everything set up here, that have local stuff. And so Cubitac was one of them that I really liked. One of them is called Blue Valley. So we found out, so this Dorchester project that we did, we saw on the boxes who like supplied them, and then we found them at the IBS. Blue, I think it's Blue Valley. I have to look up their name. But they have distribution centers in the United States. They have all different types of stuff, like directly from, I think it's China or whatever, at incredible prices. Like if I paid $22,000 for 3 kitchens worth modern European style frameless cabinets, and this was the cheapest guy I could find that I'm spending $22,000 with, and he was still making a profit. And so like the thing is like we saw that like if we can be going to those manufacturers and not only like getting the manufacturer price for our own projects but then selling those, incredible.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
I would say so. I've worked with Forevermark, I've worked with JSI, I've worked with Fabuwood, I've worked with Omega, I've worked with Woodland, which is like those are some custom lines. We've worked with all the Mastercraft brands. Um, a lot of a lot of the cabinets don't kind of give you all the information. Like some of them, a lot of them, when they say like they're fully wood, they'll they can like choose which walls of the cabinet are plywood and which are wood composite or particle board.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then they'll use like small differential things. They'll use clips as opposed to like dovetailed drawers. They'll use plastic things and staples as opposed to screws and plywood. So it's like it's small things that save them a buck and justify. But like when it comes to raw materials for manufacturers, you quite literally like when they're big enough, you have to think of it from the standpoint of all of them, if they have million square foot factories and these are big dogs competing against each other, they're all very aware of the market. They're very aware of what things cost and likely have very similar suppliers. So whatever their price points are is either going to be branding or reality. Like the only way that they're going to be able to charge anything more than market value for raw materials and how they can construct it and what margins are worked into the industry is if they have some sort of crazy branding, which most manufacturers don't. So
Yeah.
anytime I see somebody who's significantly cheaper from a raw material constructed product standpoint, it's probably for good reason. So those are
Yeah.
the only things that I would warn you against when you're looking for suppliers because we've worked with like 10 different manufacturers since my dad started the company. We've had 4 different showrooms. We've worked with all sorts of different people. We've had stuff that shows up not even the same color. We've had manufacturers that they'll give us one color cabinet and then all of your trim in crown molding is a different color. It's like the same but not the same.
Yeah.
So it's like the minute details that if you're working in a certain caliber of home, it just is not going to fly and it's going to give you all those headaches that you're trying to avoid in those ultra luxury. I love Fabuwood because it's arguably one of the quickest turnaround times. They're really close to you if you're in Massachusetts, and Fabuwood delivers themselves to Massachusetts. You have like a 10-day turnaround time for things that are in stock. Um,
Yeah.
and anything that is broken or damaged, you take a picture of it, you send it to your rep, you submit an RMA online that you can do in 3 seconds. You have that picture with the note of the damage, they send you a new one for free, and it's there within a week. So like all of
If
that stuff is fantastic, and the pricing is not going to be the cheapest, but it's marginal, and
if
the
if
amount
your
of headaches
if
and
your property
simplicity in process is it's
if
better
you
than any others that I've found. I have cheaper manufacturers, but I don't like going through them because they make it a huge pain in the ass.
if she's spending 3,000 a week in holding costs, every day matters. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lee, you make something for her, you send it to me, okay? But you still call her, right? And then Mark, you also get in touch with her because she wants to hear about Rockport and you're going to give her the Dorchester deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Shaun Sanville, what do you have in Rochester right now? A rental in Rochester? Oh, no, no. You're
No,
doing a
it's
no.
a no. Yeah, it's a novation.
What is it? Single family?
It's a manufactured home.
Is that a trailer or is that like a pre-built thing that you assemble?
It's basically a freaking trailer, but it's called
Okay.
something different.
Okay.
um, yeah, it's a manufactured home that we're just coming in and we're basically throwing like 10,000 bucks at it just to get it to sell quicker. Like we have three model match comps that all sold in the same part within the last 90 days. So like price point and everything is there. We just want to clean it up a little bit to get it to sell quicker.
All
So
right.
are
Can
you
you have
trying to sell it as a buy and hold?
I mean, I'm just trying to sell it to anybody that will buy it on the open market. No, but I was asking you about because I knew you were up that way in New Hampshire. I just didn't know
Mhm.
where. But one of the things that we want to do is like when you it's a manufactured home, so the square footage is small. Like when you first walk in, that main like living room area that brings like essentially connects all the bedrooms, kitchen, everything like that. It's fucking carpeted right now. So it's
Yeah.
like I want to get that, rip that out of there, throw LVP all throughout there. And then there's some bathroom stuff I want to do. But if you have the hookup for all that stuff, then I'll just go through you up there.
Yeah, I mean, I can do all of that myself. Yeah.
All right.
Usually in situations when I'm looking for stuff, especially now that I have the manufacturer relationships and I can just source all the materials, there's very few things that I want done to a home apart from like heating and cooling and roofing.
Yeah.
Um, and even that, like I have people that can do all those things. Um,
So like will you sub out like so like I know I can buy all the material and stuff through you, but do you guys do like install and stuff too? Or like can you sub that out?
yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Then I'll just go through you.
why are you doing the novation? If you were to wholesale it, you make one thing. If you were to novate it, it's way better.
Yeah, the wholesale price that I had to lock them up at was like 90,000, right? But I can novate it for at and give them 125 and still make the same profit. So it's kind of like a win-win because I'm still into the deal, $0 out of pocket because I'll get the private money for 10K, 15 flat on that. So I'll pay back 11.5. And so I can just go in, I can do that, and then I can sell it to the retail market for highest and best. Because so like the thing is like with the three model match comps that we have in that park, they all sold pretty much as is. Like they weren't remodeled at all. So if I come in and make it look a tiny bit better, I could get it to sell faster, but I also might get it up in price a little bit.
Isn't
So
that
you're
kind of
looking for,
you said the model matches, you have 3 model matches that all sold within 90 days. Isn't that too much?
The past 90 days.
Yeah, but isn't that a lot of sales for one park?
I mean, I don't know too much about mobile home parks, but
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
not
like
using.
if a lot of things are selling real fast, that scares me off. It means like the neighborhood's gone to shit a little bit. You know what I mean? Where they're like, get us the
Rochester,
fuck
which
out.
if
I
people
don't
are
know though.
needing mobile homes, they might just to be like, hey, I came here for a couple years and I want to get a not manufactured home.
Could be
Uh,
all the utilities and stuff though too. Like if it's like a co-op and they have all like the sewer and the septic and stuff is failing. Like I used to survey and
Well,
we had to do some mobile home parks and like there were some that had some serious issues, but
Mark, you
uh,
want to buy this mobile home park? It sounds like it has lots of issues. I thought you coming back, you're like, oh, I want a mobile home park now.
RV parks,
Oh,
self-storage, yeah, campgrounds.
okay.
I've been hearing a lot about self-storage, like a lot. And after having tenants in Massachusetts, I think that's very attractive
hmm.
to have self-storage.
I
you
really
just got
want
to
to
get
do
out of
the
Massachusetts altogether.
I just want to wedge myself into deals. I don't care where. I want operators who are operating, and I want to cold call and just do what I do. And instead of making assignment fees, I want equity. I want ownership percentage, and call that a day. So I need to start.
What did they say to you at this meetup? Because I feel like you did a 180. I've never heard you talk about mobile home parks before, RV parks before,
I
or self-storage.
I've been into it. I mean, I like camping. Like I go camping often and stuff, and I don't and like I'm not going to be the operator. So like I'm thinking about like tenants and stuff. Eventually when I do buy, like I can try to buy a 3 family that everybody's bidding over ask on that doesn't fucking cash flow where my tenants just squat on me. Or it's like I could find somebody that is operating that is an operator and I can bring them and let them do their damn thing and I don't have to worry about it. And it's
Mm.
essentially mailbox money. Like I don't really want fucking residential rentals. From things that I've seen in the past 5 years, it's like everybody's fighting over it just for it to be a bunch of bullshit. And it's like, don't get me wrong, will I pick some up? Sure. But if at the end of the day, all I'm really calling on is probate. If I can just throw a different list in there when I'm done with my probate deals and I can yield ownership out of it, and that's what I want to do. So I've kind of been thinking that anyways, but and they were just going over some like RV park, deals and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know, like to yeah. So fewer
Oh
deals.
no, finish the sentence. They were kind of going over RV park deals.
You just need fewer deals. Like you need a couple of RV parks to make the cash flow that you would need to own like 100 single family rentals or whatever it is, right? Or
So what's
multifamily
what's
units.
the expected cash flow for one RV park? Let's
Uh,
drop numbers.
it depends. It depends. I
And
think
I know,
so.
but you're saying better than residential. So what is residential? What number did they tell you that you're like, I want that?
I don't even care the number, right? At the end of the day, I'm not going to be the operator. So I do what I do. I'll get deals, I'll control deals, and from there I will choose what I want to do with it. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter. But like one example they were using, I also like it because I like going to these areas. I like RV parks in the White Mountains and campgrounds, and if I could bounce to a couple throughout the country and just visit, like I think that's cool. That's like right up my alley. More
You
so than
want to
just
go to
dealing with
you want to go to Texas?
I would go to tech, like whatever, I don't care. Um, yeah.
Greg, tell him. Does everybody know who Greg is?
No.
I'm the guy that falls
Nobody?
asleep during Zooms.
Greg is one of my favorite people of all time. He's one of the first people that I ever met in sub 2 that I was actually like on a Zoom call with. And it's because I was doing probate and I was trying to find some old lady who didn't want to be found. And I'm pretty sure she died a while ago. And that's why I can't find her. Anyway, so they did this whole thing. So before REI Sift was ever big, Greg and his business partner, Ken Lee Camp, were hot shots in Texas. And they had the record for the largest wholesale fee in all of sub 2. I don't know if that's still held. It might be still held. They just did another land deal with the Indians out of
Your
Texas. I think
Mike,
from
old
Texas.
lady Mike.
I don't know what's wrong. I didn't change anything. Anyway, Greg, tell them who you are.
I'm Greg Tuck. I'm a real estate investor. Fix, flip, hold, novate, no rat, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very, very tired. I just got out of town. I was out of town for like 10 days. And I just got back in, and then I had to go to a flip today. But yeah, do a little bit of everything. I've lent money before too. I'm starting to lend money a lot more because it's more like it's more passive work instead of actually getting in there and doing things and managing things. You just check in every now and then. But yeah, I guess I specialize in finding hard to find people, and that's what helps me get the bigger spreads on the deals. There's a guy who's kind of marketing that now here in Texas. His name is Logan Fulmer. If you look that guy up, that's kind of what I've been doing. He just so happened to get hot after I'd been doing it. So it's pretty interesting. He got a lot of good resources. I think Tyler Epstein's one of the attorneys that work with them. He's a really cool guy too. Stephanie Shepard over there in Sub Two, she's good at finding people too. And it's just kind of what I've been doing is if somebody can't find somebody, they send them to me, and I try to work out a deal with them. And if I can get in the deal, kind of like you, Mark. I put myself in the middle of it. I make a little bit of money. They make a little bit of money. They find the person that they couldn't find, and we go on from there. But to answer your question, saying, hey, I'm looking for RV parks, trailer parks, etc. I do have one. It's close to Killeen, Texas. It's in Bell County. It's one of the biggest military bases in the United States. The owners, I think they're Arabs, are very, 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 very hard people to work with. I've tried working out a deal with them a couple times, and I just keep falling flat on my face. But it's like they say, half a watermelon is greater than a seed of grape. If you can get them on the phone and you can work something out, more power to you. I'll send all the information your way, and if you want to try to work something out with them, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. And obviously, we'll make it work for you as well, right? Whatever, if something comes of it, obviously. Yeah, that's what I'd like to get into. So yeah, I mean, I'm like absolutely brand new on it, so I've like haven't talked to any of these owners before, haven't negotiated any of them, but yeah, I would basically just be looking to try to connect and see if we can put something together.
He
Yeah,
says
beginner's luck.
he says he's brand new, but he's not brand new. He might be brand new to RV parks, but he's been doing acquisitions for 5 years.
Yeah,
So
but it's a different conversation when you're talking like RV parks and stuff like that a little bit,
to an extent, yes, but I also think like don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just I just gotta get into the swing of things
Oh,
with like this
man.
particular asset.
Greg, has anybody bought an RV park, or have you bought one yet, Greg? Do you know how to talk?
I bought the smallest one in Texas. Probably it was 3 mobile homes, and then there was one extra space on there. And
Nice.
Is that
that's
is that the one that you bought? You're
That's
like,
good.
is that one you bought because of a personal thing where you were like, I want to buy that? It was like your friends or something?
it was my landlord's. It's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Would
got
you
that
buy
one.
it? Would you buy again? Is that something you want to continue buying, that asset class?
Yeah, it was super easy money. It was in a little shithole town where I'm from, so made pretty good money off of that. Really didn't have to do anything, and it was just a lower class asset. I think the lady was charging the people own their mobile. A majority of the people own their mobile homes on there, and she was charging $50 a month lot rent. So I mean, all we had to do is get it cleaned up and raise the lot rent, and the valuation of the property would have refinance out of it. But it was insane. I just the lady who ended up with it did not know what she was doing, and I think she was. The son was adopted. She married the adopted son. Everybody else died. She ended up with it because they willed it to her, but it was the great grandparent that knew how to do all the real estate stuff, and that's how they ended up with it. And she just had absolutely no idea what she was doing. That she was getting further and further, in debt with the taxes. So she was just delinquent taxes every year. So that $50 a month wasn't enough, I guess.
What do you want to work on going forward this year?
Commercial land. I got one big commercial land deal going on in Houston right now. It's got me super excited. It has all the characteristics of a traditional deal that I would go after. Just hard to find people, tracking them down, descendants of the person who originally owned the property, buying out interest, cleaning up the title. One step at a time. It takes a long time, but the spreads, as you've seen, Suzanne, the spreads are amazingly big, much bigger, and I'm still doing the same amount of work. So I think that's the best way to utilize my time and my team's time, honestly.
So
Yeah.
you like the commercial deals just because the sale price is a lot higher, the work is about the same. But you're wholesaling the deal. You're not actually doing the development on it, right?
It's too far away from me right now. If I move back to Houston, I'd probably get involved in it. But it's just too far away. I'm in Temple. If I had something over here in this area, yeah, I'd absolutely want to put my hand in it. And, because I got the time over here. You know me, I like getting my hands dirty, honestly.
I know. Where did the deal come from? How did you source it? And then what are the buyers going to do with it?
I got the deal driving for dollars. I still like to do that. Nothing. If you're ever looking for properties, nothing's better than driving for dollars. If you want a good list, it's not marketable because it's not just a list that you can pull. You have to go actively do it yourself. So they say it's not a list, quote unquote. I believe it is. What they're gonna do with the property is, I think they're gonna use it. They said they're gonna use it for commercial vehicle storage. They're going to turn it into a commercial vehicle lot or something like that. It's right there off of I-10 in Houston, which is one of the main highways running through it.
Love
Very
it.
cool.
You're doing all the work that nobody wants to do, the hard work, man. And I really like the idea of it, like just like spending the same amount of energy on deals, but to make way more. That's something I want to focus on like heavily moving forward.
I got
Yeah, I had. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, what was the record wholesale deal? How much?
I think it was like 650,000. It was around there. I'd have to look.
Holy fuck! Hell yeah!
Assignment?
Yeah, that was an assignment.
Commercial? Got
Yeah,
it.
it was commercial. It was a very, very similar deal.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's awesome.
But
record
this one, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are in any of the communities or not. I think some of you are. Sorry about that. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
we're-
guys are in the communities or not, but Scott Horn's actually the one who funded all this. So I think I borrowed 327, and I think my offer's 929. I have to. It's on my phone, and I'm on my phone right now, so I can't look at it. I sent it to Suzanne though, so she's seen it.
You guys know who Scott Horn is, right?
No.
Oh my God, you little babies. Sorry. We're just old. But back in 2021, Scott Horn was like the shut up, shut up. Scott Horn was big cheese back in the day. Did he get replaced by somebody?
I don't think he got.
I'm not in the community anymore, so I don't know who's the new big cheese, but back in the day, he's the one.
I would say he's still the big cheese. I just don't think he's as active in the sub 2 community. I'm not sure why. But
Is he not active or he's not getting pimped out? Because usually it's like Pace would mention somebody and then blow up their spot. And Scott Horner is the guy who created all the Pace documents.
yeah.
That's him.
I don't really know. I'm doing one flip with him in Round Rock, Texas, which is close to Austin. So we got one flip that we're actively doing together right now. And then he lent me money on this deal as well. And then I got one more that's in Kerr County, Texas. I think I'm going to get him to lend on me too, or see if he wants to go in on it. And I don't know. He's a really cool guy. He's not he's good for deeds and asking questions about that type of information. He got the title company. If y'all are ever doing deals in Texas and y'all got like a tricky, title work, reach out to their team. They'll help you point you right in the direction if you ever need that. But he's not a good like a litigation attorney, so don't reach out to him for questions about that. He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Find
But,
unfindable people.
Can't give
I
away
got a special set of skills.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, my brother's name is George Tuck. My grandpa's name is George Tuck. My dad's is my great grandpa. I did not know my great grandpa, and I just wanted to see who that guy was. And I built a family tree when I was like 13, and I really enjoyed it. And I found out who he was. I found out he had like 4 families across the United States, 1 in Canada, and I connected with all my great great aunts and uncles, my cousins that I never knew that I had, and to kind of put together his life story. And I got into real estate. The first person that Kinley ever sent me to find, because I told him, I was like, I feel like I can find anybody. He sent me a house here in Temple, and it just worked out so well. It coincided with the skills that I already developed over time. And, since then, I've refined them and gotten better and found more niche ways of getting a hold of people. And I've gathered my resources from communities and worked with people and learned from them, and they learned from me. And it's just experience, honestly.
Don't fuck with Gregg.
No,
He's,
man.
Yeah.
he's very good. Very good. He's
How
like,
do
get me a
I-
license plate.
Yeah, how do I pay you to teach me that?
Man, it's just a lot of, I don't know.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think you can ask him because I've told him over the years, I'm like, bro, you need to like film yourself doing it just to walk some. Even if somebody hires him to do it, there's so many different avenues to go through, so many dead ends that you'll hit. So for you to learn how to be Gregg is kind of impossible. I would just tell you to hire him, but he doesn't sell
Yeah.
himself like that.
I need somebody like that because when we door knock all those pre-foreclosures, 50% of them are vacant and they're just sitting there in great towns with great equity in them.
Yeah, send me. Get with me. I'll put my phone number and my email in here, and I can connect with you, Mark, and then Shaun. Me and you can talk, and we can, figure something out that works for both of us. I know one time Suzanne sent me her fucking neighbor's high school sweetheart. They said
I
this is
gave
a.
him the most impossible. I couldn't even give him an actual name. And it was a girl who got married. So it's like her maiden name. And then she was an immigrant and like they didn't even own the house that they were living in. The most absurd thing, he found it. My neighbor still calls me and tells me how he talks to the sister all the time. And then he complains where he's like, Lillian got so fat. I don't know what happened to her. And he's crushing on the sister now. But anyway, Gregg can find anybody. Gregg, I would tell you it's not worth your while doing a deal where the profit's like 100,000. You gotta, by the way, your contract is 329 and you're selling for 929. So your spread is 600. Okay. So these are the deals that like this kind of work to find these people is so hard that your spread better be 600,000 or within that ballpark, because doing like 50,000 or like 150,000 might not be worth it because it takes hours to find these people. It does. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I got a lot of free time, and it's something that I enjoy doing. You know what I mean? It's not really a job. I really take pleasure in finding people and putting together the puzzle. Sometimes it's really fun, and I like a challenge. So that's the aspect I really enjoy about it. I don't like cold calling. I hate that. You couldn't pay me enough to do that. You tell me $500,000 to cold call, I'll tell you fuck off. I don't want to do that. I hate it.
I did like the ancestry, and it like even gives me all the fucking records, and I still don't even know like my great grandfather. It's like I have it all right there.
Gregg will
So,
find
Yeah.
him.
yeah.
Yeah, I can. I couldn't find one of mine, and I had to go. It was before they had census. They had some type of church book, and I had to look it up. It was in Virginia, and I found like my great great grandpa's dad, and they just had the same name, and that's why I couldn't find them. It's just little nuances like that. You just gotta kind of know where to look. It's just the stuff you pick up over time, and you're like, oh, I remember when this happened here. I wonder if it'll work now.
Gregg,
So
I
Gregg,
would,
Really, to me, it's really enjoyable.
I would tell you if you can to
Go
create a
ahead.
product where you do a search for 3 hours, and even if it's like 3 hours, $3,000, let people hire you because there are some deals that people are desperate to find the person. Some of these are like I think one of the first deals that I ever found was like a driving for dollars where I'm like, that fucking house, if I can just get it, it's a done deal and it was worth it for me. So I would tell you if you can create some sort of product where you can let people hire you because we just feel like we're annoying you. At least that's how I feel. I'm not going to put something on your plate unless there's good money there and it's worth your while. So I would tell you just come up with something. I'll do research for 3 hours. It's going to cost you $3,000. I'm going to film myself do it and you'll get all the information. You're able to chase down like, 10 different phone numbers, whatever the case may be. But I would tell you to do that if you actually enjoy doing it. And then, like we talked about, you want to do commercial deals going forward because you have a special set of skills that are very lucrative only when there are
Right.
for commercial deals. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
big deal, the biggest one or whatever, that one, those people they lived in Africa, and I had to get them to sign a POA at the consulate in Kenya, the American consulate, and it was like 3 months out, and it was just such a time crunch that we didn't have 3 months to wait. And it's just like stupid bullshit. Like one of the people that I worked with they owned a percentage of a diamond mine in Kenya with that attorney, and they knew the attorney, and the attorney worked for the government in Kenya, and he got us in there in 2 weeks. It's just like
Like a
that's the
movie.
kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's just
Like a
interesting.
movie.
Yeah, just like, and it sounds like I'm bullshitting, which I don't care. I don't have no reason to lie, but it's just funny shit like that happens in this type of stuff, and that's what I really enjoy about it the most. It's just
Those
like
blood
that kind of
diamonds.
stuff.
So Greg, let me ask you, you said at one point you said like myself and my team. Who do you classify as your team? And like I'm assuming you don't have like employees or anything like that. So who's
Yeah, I do have employees, and then I have contractors as well. And then, I got partners, private money lenders. Just I consider everybody who's working to deal with me my team.
But
Um,
Greg, payroll wise, apart from Ken Lee, do you pay anybody regularly to do stuff for you? Is anyone on your payroll?
yeah, Moses Moreno is on my payroll.
What does he do
Yes,
for you?
he is my cold caller.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
nice?
Rachael has a whole freaking team, designer, architect, blah, 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 subcontractors. I think, Greg, your stuff is more along the lines of if you have a job, it gets filled, but it's like a pay per job. It's not a consistent, like, I have to keep a 40-hour work week going for these people,
Yeah,
except for
yeah,
Moses.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have enough projects going on to have a full team. I got the flip and Round Rock's done, and then I got a flip here in Temple on Antelope, and then I got a flip coming up in Houston, but it's not ready. It's not ready yet. It was going through probate. It should be ready, I think, in 45 days after they did the last filing is how long it'll take. And then, so it's just like I don't do enough flips consistently. I'll do a flip if it's lucrative enough. I have to make enough money to actually do it. I don't want to just, um, I don't know. I don't want to get into property and just make 20 grand and it takes me 3 months. I'd rather make 5 grand off a wholesale fee. Or if I can get 40 grand for wholesaling something and I don't have to wait, 3 months for 60 grand, I'd rather just wholesale it and make the money and not deal with the headache. It just
Do you,
depends. Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead, Rachel. I'm sorry.
No, I cut you off. Do you guys, I'm curious, do you guys have like a minimum? Because we have a minimum of like when we come in and like, hey, when we're doing a flip, we need to see at least X amount in profit to make it worth it. Do you guys have a minimum?
I mean, not really. We don't overcomplicate. It's
For a flip, not like a wholesale, not any of the like, but is there like, hey, if I'm gonna come in and do construction and sweat and put my work in, I need to like, I'm not doing a flip for $20,000. I need to at least make a certain amount. Cause like I know like down in like Ohio, they'll flip for $40,000 a house, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like enough profit to me.
for Antelope, and then for Round Rock, those are both my flips. We're supposed to be profiting over $100,000 on each of those. And even for, I call it the cat house. I think Suzanne's seen videos of it. We got that one dirt cheap. So if I do flip something, it's going to be something like that. I don't want to sit there and put 3 months of time and tie up 3 months, of money to make 20 grand. Like that's not worth it to me. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rachel, what's your number for you?
Our minimum is 100 grand. Like bare minimum, we have to see 100K on a flip. Because like I said, like we've seen just as contractors, like you can see when stuff goes wrong. And like even more so a flip, and even more so in Massachusetts, all these houses are old and
Yeah.
walls are janky and stuff goes wrong. And so like if there's not $100,000 in flip, like if it takes you a few months more than you thought it was going to take you, already your investment starts going out the window. Like the time.
So you're doing 100,000, but what's your ARV?
It can be anything. Well, no, it can be anything. So $100,000 on like purchase price anywhere between 300, 400, max 500 purchase price.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a different ball game. So I usually I think flippers, like as a general rule of thumb, they need to at minimum be making 10% of ARV. So if you're doing $1 million flip, it has to be $100,000, but that's like a bread and butter, high volume kind of person. If you're doing less and you're doing more high end stuff where it's a smaller operations, then obviously it gets bumped up from there. But I'm just thinking if you're making 100,000 and you're doing 2 million ARV, you know, your carrying costs are bananas at that point versus something where it's a 300,000 purchase price, you know, 700 ARV, you're in a much better spot that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I expect even like single, like, you know, where we looked at a condo today that we put an offer in at, and like just a small condo that we'd buy for 220, put $50,000 into it. So then we're at 270. Ideally, we'd like to do it with private money, not have hard money. But okay, let's say we do, you know, we spend 30K on soft costs and different fees, whatever, you know, just for a small condo, it really doesn't need that much work. It's like a kitchen, bathroom renovation, some painting, some floor refinishing, the type of stuff that we knock out in 2 months flat, you know, over 100,000 profit because it'll resell at like 420, 430.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the purchase price is low. And so like, I think it's just like the matter of like, anytime you're buying a house, like even in Massachusetts, like this stuff, like, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people do really risky stuff and buy a lot of properties they shouldn't have bought. And like, we see a lot of deals before we purchase. Like we see like, for every one flip we buy, we've seen at least 30 or 40 that we've seen and put in offers, and it doesn't work out because it's just too risky and we don't want to take that risk.
Good stuff.
Lee,
All of you.
I feel like Lee
All
should
of-
get into flips.
Oh, I'm like right on the precipice of that breakthrough.
The only thing you have to learn is like how to know your soft costs, because
I think I'm very good with numbers. That's like my key point of coming into the family business.
yeah. Well, I'm saying like soft costs from like a lender, like if you're going to get hard money, like real utilities, like all the stuff that doesn't involve construction, because construction, you know, construction is like, you know, that you figure out and learn. And then the other stuff, like you'll learn of like, okay, I think all of us learn through time, like, okay, where is it worth my money going to? So something that, holding costs. So that's what I mean too. And so, something that I've learned is like, there's things that as contractors, we see stuff and we're like, holy crap, how did they get away with that? Like, this is so messed up, but someone will never see it. Like, I think Suzanne had posted on her story once of like a ledge going up the stairs. Like, oh, what do I do with this small ledge? And I was like, let me tell you, you can either spend, I don't know what you ended up doing with it, but homeowner will never see it. They'll never, us as contractors, as people who are like in construction or in the industry, like we'll see it and we'll be like, oh, that could have been a better choice. Homeowner will never see it. And so
she, in her house, she had a bar area for cabinets, and she wanted to like put it tight to the corner.
No, that wasn't it. I was still right, and I never take that back. But actually, Rachel,
She wanted to spend like an extra $2,000 to fix it. I'm like, nobody's gonna give a fuck.
Okay, number one,
Nobody's gonna care.
Giovanni should have confirmed with me before he installed it. And if he watches this, Giovanni, go fuck yourself. I'm still mad about that. He should have confirmed, but he didn't want to talk to me. That's why he was like, give me the plans. And he did it based on your plans, and your plans were
We'll
just
order all new cabinets. I was like, no, you will not.
anyway. I'm glad you brought that up because I followed what you said. I just made it as pretty as possible. You were right. And you're right. You're right. You're right. But this is what I'm saying. Like, it's good to have friends in this business because I see things in a certain way, especially if things are like blowing up, and having you just be like, no, you idiot, do it like this. I was like, she right. And you were right. Anyway, what were you saying? I cut you off. I apologize.
No, I was just like, that's our biggest problem as contractors is so like, for example, Doug and I, we went and we saw a property that a realtor that we know flipped in North Reading, 2 condos, like gorgeous. So what she did, she bought containers from China, shipped everything in, and it came out like beautifully. The photos impeccable. And so we go there because this is like must have been at least 8 months ago now. And so we go there just to learn about like shipping stuff in, like, is it worth it? And we go there and we're seeing stuff and we're like, we see the stair treads that are not polyurethaned. the unfinished stair rail, the behind the vanities that never had caulk put in, like all of these small details that for us as contractors, we see it and it's like a knife in the heart, like, oh man, so many, I can't tell you how many small details like this, like paint chipping or just, it wasn't properly sanded, and it's all over the place. And she's selling over $1 million each condo, like super high, but the photos are gorgeous. The homeowners, like, an inspector might catch some of it, but I think the biggest thing that I've had to learn is like when to walk away and take off your contractor hat and you put on a flipper hat, because a flipper hat is not a contractor hat. And that is a lesson that we've seen too, of like how many times we'll spend all this extra money into fixing a small thing that no one will notice, and we'll never get the return of our money back.
Yeah. I have a really hard time when it comes to the morality of it. It's frustrating for me because I want it to be better and I want it to be more affordable to deliver a better, more quality product.
But I think if you have contractors that care, because anytime that I've seen bullshit like that, it's people that like, I'm not on site, I'm not around. They know like nobody's hovering, nobody's gonna be like, are we leaving it like that? If that's not gonna happen, if there's no accountability, they're just gonna fucking send it and run.
It's usually easy to fix in the moment and really hard after.
Exactly. And so for me, I think one thing that I learned with this flip is people who care, people who take pride in their work is better. But even then, they still have bad days and their car gets totaled and have a fight with their kid going to school and some shit like that. And stuff happens. So yeah, caring is important. Anyway, I checked.
Well, it's like what I said, like, about doing right by people. Like, let me be clear by that and say, like, we are not, like, I've seen a lot of really crappy flippers, like a lot. Like, you never leave some type of dangerous situation, some type of structural stuff. Like, that's the type of stuff that like you stray away from. But it's like the small stuff of like Suzanne's stairs, right? It had like a lip on the stair thing. No one's ever gonna see that. Or like, no, like, it's a character of an old house. It's like those things that it kills us internally, because we know the craft that it can be, and we know that its potential, we know what it should be, but it's like what we have to care more about in those moments is like, are you going to spend the $5,000 to fix it because you just lost $5,000?
Yeah,
you care more about your own pocket in those moments and like put on that flipper hat, not to like be crappy and not to be a jerk about it, but just know like you're spending money and putting it in the trash because they won't value it.
So let's not say flipper hat, because that already has a whole backstory to it. I would say an ROI. Pay attention to ROI. It's not worth it. The other thing that I cared a lot about was I was like, I don't, I thought it would bother them. But you're right. If they're like, no, if nobody's gonna die, plaster the shit out of it, just make it smooth, paint it, it'll look fine. It's fine. Yeah, you were right. I'll take a picture of it because yeah. Anyway, I checked the directory. Not one of you, all 4 of you that are on this call are in doo-doo. You need to go fill it out right now. Mark, yours didn't come through.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm literally looking at it right now.
Okay, that's because you just did it like 3 seconds ago.
Where
Like an hour
is
ago.
this invitation for this directory?
I will
Suzanne,
invite
you
you
yelled at me
directly.
for not being a part of one of your Facebook groups, and you literally never even accepted my invitation. So I don't want to hear
Falling
it
on
from you.
deaf ears. I don't know what that's about. I'm just a unhinged old woman doing whatever the fuck I feel like.
You're like, why are you not posting in my Facebook group? And I'm like, I opened it up. I'm like, you didn't accept it.
I didn't know which
your little
group we were
stupid questionnaire
talking
like 3 months
about.
ago.
Anyway, join that so you guys can connect with each other. And yes, I see you, Greg, where you say it's the Suzanne show. It's not Suzanne and her friends. It's Suzanne's thumbs up people that it's easy to be just good people. Again, good people doing good work, making good money, being good friends to each other, because obviously real estate is better with friends. That's it. Very simple. Yeah. Find each other. Dorchester deal, Mark, Veader, all the above. Find each other throughout the week. We are going hiking this Saturday. I think all of you, with the exception of Greg. Greg might fly in for something after he closes this deal. He spent some time in Maine at one point, and he likes camping. So you probably, Mark, want to go camping with him at some point. I told him I would take him hogging in Rhode Island, which I will also take any of you if you want to go. It's a good time. It's very Rhode Island. I will give you the whole Rhode Island immersion process. But yeah, so this Saturday we're going hiking. Meet there at 9 o'clock. I will post something tomorrow. I have like a video to post anyway. Let me know if you have questions. It's going to be tough in the morning. It's always tough in the morning waking up, but it's always worth it at the top. Yeah. Okay. Rachel, give me a percentage of how likely you are to come this Saturday.
So I actually was super likely to come until I saw that it was 2 hours away. And now
Yes.
I have to fly. So the only reason is also because like I have to fly to Orlando the next day because my sister
Mhm.
got engaged. So I'm going
Cute.
to see her try on wedding dress stuff there. So I will try and make it. How long of a hike is it? I was gonna text you and ask you.
It's not that long. So I'll give you the thing on it. I think it's like less than 3 miles, but with some elevation. And that's also the reason why we start a little bit earlier during the day, is so that nobody's stuck there at night, and it's warmer during the day too. So very easy to like leave too, because another thing I like to do is I'm so old, I need to sit for like 3 hours afterwards. So I usually go to dinner after, and it's a whole day thing. But if you're just going to sit in the car and drive home, that's easy too. Yeah. I'll send you the video because I have a video of what the whole hike looks like. And you're right, it's a hike, but I promise you, have you gone hiking before?
So I've gone as a Girl Scout as a child.
Yeah.
But like I think that I would really like hiking. That's why I want to go. But like I've never, like I said, like I have to like get out and network more and like get out of my comfort zone. And so I feel like I really would like hiking. Like I think it would
You
be
would love it. You would love it. I love it just because it honestly, it helps me figure out things. So like whatever thing that you're wrestling with that you don't know how to see or whatever, I just love like hammering it out. With every step, with every breath, you get to a point where like things just make sense, or you're like looking at vegetation, or you're talking with somebody. It's awesome. In the morning, it's always a pain in the ass. Every morning I go and I'm like, I don't know why I planned this. This is the dumbest thing ever. I hate everybody. And it's myself I have to blame because I'm the reason for it. And then once you get out there, once you're driving, you're like, okay, we're doing this. It's gonna be really fun. And then you go and you're like, oh my God, I love it. It'll be a lot of fun, I promise you. So
awesome.
if you have any inclination to go, force yourself. You too, Judy, force yourself. I'm dragging Rupert along that day, and I have a backpack if he gives up. I will carry Judy too. I got some strong legs on me. But if you have any inclination that you want to go and you can make the time, and it's honestly, if you have a flight to Florida the next day,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But pack in advance for Florida, pack also for the hike, put yourself in a good position to go, and then you're going to have a great time. It's a really like casual, easy way to like figure out your plans, get your mind right about things. And yeah, and just connect with nature. It's always good to do that. Yeah,
Awesome. So I'll do my best to make it and send me the info on it so that way
I got you.
and I can go.
I got you. Okay. Good night, everybody. Overtime.
Thanks guys.
Overtime.